when you're weary.
Feeling small.
Feeling oh so very, very small.
Woo-hoo.
I will draw them on, baby, that's right.
I'm on your side.
I'm on your side.
Oh, when times get rough.
Time to get rough. Friends just can't be found. Like that old bridge over the troubled water. I will lay me down, baby. I will lay me down. That's right. That's Carly Ozard. Carly Ozard. Check her out on Spotify. Hey, everybody. How you doing today? This is Ray Renati, and you've reached Green Room Radio. Today is Friday, February 15th, 2019, and this is episode number 80 of Green Room Radio. Wow. Green Room on air. Number 80. Wow. I am proud of myself. I sure am. Today we're going to be speaking with Anne Kobori. She is the artistic director and founder of Utopia Theater Project, and she's written a new play called Everyday Alice. It's going to be running at the PianoFight in San Francisco. Isn't that a cool name for a bar? PianoFight. This place is great. They got all kinds of spaces in there. They have two theaters. They also have a stage right in the restaurant area. And they host all kinds of theater companies, and it's called the PianoFight. It's going to be running from, February 15th through March 19th. PianoFight is on 144 Taylor Street in San Francisco. Everyday Alice by the Utopia Theater Project, written by Anne Kobori, and she's also starring in the show. That's right. We had a nice discussion a few days ago about how she developed this play. We talked about the actors in the play and a whole bunch of other cool and groovy stuff. The play itself is based on Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan. So that'll be coming up in just a minute. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about a recent experience I had seeing a live taping of Anthony, whatever you prefer, Antony and Cleopatra by the Bard himself. Yes, William Shakespeare. I saw this at a local movie theater. How does that happen? Well, the National Theatre in London produces what is called National Theatre Live. And National Theatre Live is a project that launched way back in June of 2009 with a broadcast of Phaedra starring the oh-so-wonderful Helen Mirren. And they've been going strong ever since. They've broadcast over 40 other productions live from both the National Theatre and from other theaters in the United Kingdom. And this time, I was privileged to see a remarkable production of Antony and Cleopatra, one of Shakespeare's great plays, I would say. And it's not staged a whole heck of a lot. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because it requires an actual snake on stage. I won't tell you why, in case you haven't seen the play, but the snake is very prominent and important. I guess if you produce the play, you could go with a papier-mâché snake, but then you risk it becoming a comedy, and it's a tragedy. So maybe that's why people often don't produce this play. I don't know. Anyway, this production of Antony and Cleopatra starred Ralph Fiennes as Antony and Sophie Okonedo as Cleopatra. And they're both at the top of their games as actors, and their performances were nothing short of riveting. I was not as familiar with the work of Sophia as I am with Ralph Fiennes, and I was really impressed with her energy and her ability to bring this complex character, Cleopatra, to life on this very creatively designed stage. If you get a chance to see it, you should. I really recommend it. All you have to do is go to the web, look up National Theatre Live, And they have a search function there. You can see if there are any theaters in your neck of the woods that might be showing this spectacular production. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go right to our interview with Miss Anne Kobori. We jump right into the discussion of the plot of her play. Enjoy.
So Alice is a writer, and she has just finished writing her first novel, but sort of in the process, she had this mental breakdown. She wasn't getting enough sleep, and so she sort of went on this high, and then she crashed at the end. And so they admitted her to this hospital. Peter is actually her boyfriend, but he can't quite make the leap from being a young adult and having a job and stuff like that to being a full adult and, taking on more responsibilities and having a family and things like that. So he's not quite ready to make the leap to marriage and to them buying a house together or anything like that. So he sort of has arrested development in that way.
He's not in the mental hospital too, is he?
No, but he comes and visits. Yeah, so he's an architect, so not a creative in the same way, although still creating something.
And she got stuck in there just because she didn't get enough sleep?
Yeah, so she actually, it's not explicitly stated in the play, but she has PTSD. So she has these things that they call episodes, and they're actually hypomanic episodes. So she's not bipolar and she's not manic depressive, but if she starts staying up really late and not getting sleep for multiple days and she gets sleep deprivation, then she sort of starts riding on this high of elated mood and racing thoughts, and she gets sort of manic. And if that is allowed to continue, then it just sort of gets more and more explosive until finally she hits the peak and then she crashes physically.
Yeah, I've heard that PTSD can mimic all kinds of other mental illness, I guess, as well as bipolar and other things. Is this a comedy?
I guess it's kind of a dark comedy. I don't know. I think recently we were just putting it onto the TBA Awards, registration or whatever. And it asked, what kind of theater is it? And I was like, well, it's not really a comedy, but it's not really a drama either. So I guess we're calling it a dark comedy. There are definitely a lot of light moments, and there's some singing in it, a lot of music. So one of their friends, James, who's sort of like Captain Hook, he is the editor of Alice's books, but he also is a piano player. So he plays piano throughout the show in different scenes.
And who are your performers, and who's the musician? The Captain Hook guy.
So I'm actually playing Alice.
Oh, good for you. All right.
Yeah. And then Peter's being played by Josh Marks, who is Equity, and the Captain Hook character, James, who's also the musician, is being played by Ben Euphrat. He's also an Equity actor as well. And then the character of James has a wife named Isabel, who's sort of like Tinkerbell, and she's a professional dancer, but she's also mute. At least she starts the play that way. So that is Jessica Uher. And
she starts the play that way, but we don't want to say anything more than that because it's a surprise.
And yes, and there will be a little bit of dancing in the play as well.
And how long did it take you to write this?
Well, I started in college, but I actually wasn't able to finish it then because I was... I guess I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to give away the ending. But I was kind of just struggling with the ending and sort of the resolution for the characters and this relationship of Alice and Peter's, which is kind of dysfunctional. Partially because she, has a lot of personal trauma and is a creative and a writer, and so she spends a lot of her time trying to be a writer, and maybe that doesn't leave quite as much time for a relationship, and because Peter just can't grow up, and so that's sort of an obstacle for them. Yeah, so I couldn't quite figure out how to end it, so I left the play and I did other things, wrote other plays, and then recently I actually came back to it, and something clicked when I was writing one of the scenes between Alice and James, actually, when they were talking about creating and love and things like that, and I was sort of just able to write that for a really long time and write into that, and then I was just able to finish the play after that. So I think it's recently finished it, actually, like last year. So
I find often people start plays and then put them away for a while and then take them on again. So how did you come up with the idea?
yeah, I mean, I've always been fascinated with both of these stories. I like them because, I mean, most people like them, but I like them. I find them interesting as a writer because they're, I think, as much for adults as for children. And they're about, growing up, or whether we even need to grow up. And I think in some ways people grow up much more quickly than they need to, and lose a lot of the really important parts of childhood that allow children to be free and have fun and express themselves. So I was interested in the stories for that reason. And then I was actually in a class at Santa Clara University, which is where I really sort of dug into the playwriting. And it was an adaptation class. So we were sort of adapting stories and novels into plays, and even other plays into plays. So from that, I think we probably had one exercise where it was like, find a fairy tale or a childhood story and adapt it. So I combined these two because I thought the characters mixed well together.
Well, good. So when is the show happening? February and March?
Yeah, so we open February 15th. I guess technically that's our preview, number one. It's our soft opening. And then we close on March 9th.
Where is it?
It is at
PianoFight in San Francisco.
Yes, in the Tenderloin. It's in the second stage space, so it's the smaller block theater.
PianoFight. Great. Well, thanks, Anne.
Thank you.
Well, wasn't that a lot of fun? I sure had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. What a great interview. Anne's such a nice young woman and very, very talented. I've had the opportunity of working with her many times. And I can guarantee you'll have a great night of theater at the PianoFight in San Francisco. Check it out. The show opens tonight, February 15th at 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. You can get your tickets at utopiatheaterproject.com. utopiatheaterproject.com. And you know what? I love making podcasts, but a lot of people don't know how much work they are. It's a lot of work, especially when you're a one-man shop, as I am. I have to find the people. I have to record everything. I have to figure out the software, which I am still learning. I have to do all the editing. I have to take out all the ums and uhs and you knows and all that stuff and make it sound halfway decent. And I'm not making any money at this, but that's okay. But if you would just go over to iTunes, if you enjoyed this, or if you didn't, whatever, just go give me an honest rating and some comments, if you can, on iTunes. I'd really appreciate it. And also, word of mouth is the best thing for podcasters. If you could tell your friends about this, just send them to raysgreenroom.com or rayrenati.com, and you can listen to all of my episodes. It's also available on Spreaker, iTunes, Overcast, and guess what? Spotify. Yeah, baby. I'm up there with the millions of other podcasts. So anyway, thanks so much for listening. I've enjoyed this. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Don't pay attention to the orangutan in the White House. He'll just upset you. And until next time, I will see you on the boards. Good night, everybody.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and questions can be met like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled.
Guido lives.